I do. I really enjoyed your piece, actually. I listened to it on your podcast and then I watched it again on YouTube. Um, I want to know, what do you think about why do people want to hear interviews from idiots?
Damn.
What is that about? Is that about failing institutions, mistrust of mainstream media, or not wanting to hear from experts?
This is a difficult question to put to me in particular because I found when I was watching these things that there is nothing that I would rather hear less. Like it was very difficult for me to put myself in the shoes of the audience for a 2 hour Lex Friedman Donald Trump exchange,
Mhm.
because for me that's like what they would play in my Guantanamo cell, right? To torment me. It's just like a never-ending 24-hour Lex Friedman podcast. And so understanding why people listen to this, when it's excruciating for me, when I'm literally sitting there in pain, going like, "Why don't you ask him a real question?" Is a little bit hard. I mean, in some cases there are obvious answers. Like Theo Vaughn is funny, and he's kind of relatable, and oftentimes, the parasocial aspect of podcasts, where these are like a guy you'd want to hang out with, and this is like a hanging out thing. And this is like, hey, he's a stand-in for you, and he's hanging out with the president. So this is kind of like what it would be like if you were hanging out with the president, and you're not much smarter than Lex Friedman, Theo Vaughn. So it's a good like audience stand-in. I think one of the things that people like about interviewers who don't know very much is that they really do like take the place of the audience, and so like it's kind of like you're there.
Well, I feel like we're living in this permanent state of political theater. What does that mean for democracy? Is politics now more about performance than actual substance?
Well, I'm always hesitant to say things like "is now" as if there was some
Great
golden
time.
age of substance to look back on. It does seem to be getting worse. I mean, if I look over American history, I see, I wouldn't look at the 1968 election as like a battle of ideas between two serious intellectuals, right?
Mhm.
These are races between two repugnant people who are demagoguing. But it has gotten rather worse because Donald Trump obviously comes out of television and has used some of the techniques of introduced some of the techniques of pro wrestling into American politics, which I don't think has been good for it. Although I'm not entirely against like showmanship. Well, actually, one of the things I like about your podcast is you bring the showmanship.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. We try to make this a real deal show. But that being said, there's also people that I won't talk to, right? I have a political ideology and just a certain level of morals. And
You not
and
had Netanyahu on?
no, I'm not in a hurry.
Mhm.
And I would be really shocked if he wanted to come on the show. I mean, even from a very small perspective, I don't know if people really understand what it's like when you interview bigger people, when you have to talk to, let's say, assistants first, or their
Mm.
comms people first, depending on a certain level of politician that you're talking to. You need to give them the questions you're asking; those have to be approved. So I feel real confident that a person like Netanyahu, it wouldn't benefit him to come on the show.
Right.
And that's another thing that I don't know if
Yes.
people really understand. Like there always has to be a benefit why people go on your show. It's just not because you're cool. Like no one's that cool. You know what I mean? There has to be some sort of material thing that you're giving these people.
That's
Um,
a really important point, Jason, and that's one of the things I discuss in the article is the way that, if if a major politician is coming on your podcast, if the president or the vice president of the United States, you really ought to think, what are they getting out of this? Are they using me? And in the case of the Nelk boys, which I discussed, their interview with
mm,
Netanyahu, like it was very obvious that Netanyahu was trying to use their ignorance to push propaganda, knowing he found a friendly forum, he found people he knew wouldn't be able to challenge him. They fed his team fed the interviewers the questions beforehand.
Mhm.
And so you are becoming, I discussed this in the article, you have to be wary of whether you are becoming part of someone's PR apparatus.